Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by my friend, my companion, my duo, a staple to the Call of Duty scene. Welcome the one, the only, Benji Nassim!
What are you going to do, like a UFC intro since it's a UFC fight today?
Yeah,
like,
Conor McGregor versus Poirier. We gotta go the fucking UFC route.
Yeah.
You know.
Listen, we got that, and we got Brazil versus Argentina in like 40 minutes.
I don't know,
Let's bang
40
through
minutes.
this.
Yeah, there's nothing to fucking talk through anyway, because what the fuck happened today, Ben?
Well, listen, Tom, I'm going to be honest.
What the fuck?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to need you to carry a little bit of this show because I went and played golf this morning, and what was a 4-hour round turned into a 6-hour round, so I kind of missed most of the first two series. I was watching on my phone whilst waiting at the tee boxes. But of what I saw, and I took some notes.
You didn't miss much.
Listen, we talked yesterday on the show that we thought it was going to be an ugly day of matches. And you know what happened?
It was an ugly fucking day of matches. Ben, I was in the fucking city all morning. I was in New York City. I was in fucking Times Square all morning. I was doing a photo shoot. I've been up in the morning. I was up early this morning. I streamed till 5 a.m. and then I fucking got up at 10 a.m. So I was definitely having a rough day for sure. I was having a rough day. It was kind of my fault for streaming so late. But sometimes, Ben, you know, when you're just playing Warzone or playing ranked play, you just get in that vibe.
You're just vibing,
You're just vibing. Like I was addicted. You know what I'm saying? But listen, today's matches went exactly how I thought they were gonna go. And Ben, I don't even want to get into listen, if people are mad at me or mad at you for not breaking down some of these matches today, fuck them. Because, dude, there's some shit that I don't. There comes a time and place, bro. I don't even want to talk about some of this shit, bro. Like, I'd rather just get into the matches tomorrow and prepare and go to the chat and answer some questions and talk about other shit. Because today, guys, was a fucking mess.
Listen, I sent you to watch together in the chat and we could just get into it.
Oh, yeah, we could get right into it. But I really don't want to. I really don't want to hang up to. I don't want to. You know.
Yeah, let's bang through it, and then we'll take a lot of questions from chat today. How about that?
Yeah, we could do some other things. Okay. But guys, we kicked things off with Paris Legion versus Atlanta FaZe, and it was a bloodbath. It was a 3-0 Atlanta FaZe. It was ugly, guys. It was bad. It was bad, Ben. It was bad.
One thing to talk about here before we get into the map was, and we remarked on this in the last couple of shows, we're gonna see weird map videos from FaZe in some of these series in this stage. As they try to get better, I think S&D for them, they need to get better at either Express or Miami. They need to get better at one of those two maps because then they can lean on it when the other team tries to pick it against them. We've seen them start to play more checkmate hardpoint in this stage, kind of see what kind of Chris and RJ and the team are sort of cooking up there in terms of their thought process of trying to mix things up in hardpoint. But yeah, it's getting into the first match, Tom. I mean, dude. Like this
run it, Ben. Let it run. Just skip through it. Guys, this is a fucking shit show. I mean, even Donnie tweeted out. He said, you know, happy birthday to me, but we got railed. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Happy birthday for Don, man.
Donnie was like, yeah. First of all, happy birthday to Donnie Temp. That's my fucking guy. It's my brother. So if Temp, I don't even know if he's in here, but that's my fucking guy, bro. So happy birthday to Donnie. I hope he's having a good birthday. I didn't tweet him or anything. I probably should, or I should text him or something. I'll text him later. Maybe I'll give him a little FaceTime call. But dude. They got fucking slammed, Ben. I mean, you can see in the score, it's 115 right now. And even though they did make it interesting in this first map, they did. They brought it back a little bit. They were mounting a comeback. There was not once where I was like, dude, Paris is actually making this comeback. And they're FaZe was in full control the whole time. They ended up making it closer than it seemed. Like, it was 150 to 20 right there. And then I think right here is when Paris chained a couple hills and brought it back. But I mean, for the most part, this is all in FaZe's control. It's just, and it comes to a point, too, where we can break down little plays here or there. But for the most part, I feel like they're just getting outclassed, Ben. Like, FaZe is just in a tier of their own, and they're just outclassing them. They're just beating them with talent. And then on top of that, a team like FaZe, they're also very smart. You know, they have talents, they have smart, and they're not even fucking trying. They're literally picking maps that they're not even good at. They're trying to practice other maps, and they're still smoking teams. So that should tell you something. You know what I'm saying, Ben?
I mean, I agree. I think, like, when I was watching this Gary Hardpoint, like, I thought FaZe body slammed them on the first rotation, body slammed them on the first two hills of the second rotation. This map got really close because I think FaZe kind of blew that P3 when they got a lucky spawn in the back because Paris kind of screwed up, and then they got flipped on the P4. They didn't pick up the pinches. Like, I thought, like, FaZe didn't play the second rotation particularly well, and Paris started to play a little bit hotter. But yeah, even across that, like, this map ended up 250 to 200, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, at no point was FaZe was never like within one hill of it kind of swinging and just we've seen this all year from them in Garrison. They're just really good at front running on this map.
Yeah.
It's been a staple in their pool. A lot of teams will pick it against them as their map choice, which okay. And yeah, I mean, not much else to say.
No, not much else to say. I mean, it's one of those things where, and I even told you, Ben, if you don't even want to break down some of these matches, and I see people in the chat not even wanting to fucking listen to it, we don't really have to. I mean, even the S&D was a 6-0, right? 6-0 or 6-1. Bro, when I tell you, I'm pretty sure my mom said something to me. I turned to her. I was talking to her for a minute. I turned around, and 3 or 4 rounds went by already. And I'm just like, dude, like, this is literally a fucking bloodbath. Like, it's so hard to even talk about stuff like this. Like, it really is. Because we could talk about what FaZe is doing right. But it's the common things, man. The crossfires, the trades, the aggression, the teamwork. And they're just outclassing their opponent. I mean, you can see it here. Look at the kill feed. It's all white. Simp is popping 2-3 pieces. You know what I'm saying? But we're definitely going to skim through... Probably.
Yeah, I want to talk about. I think the 6th round was sort of one round I have a talking point for me. Like,
Cell had a nice clutch as well.
Yeah, he had a good clutch for me. Like, this is the one map that FaZe kind of struggled to sort of crack all year because it doesn't really go to their sort of the strengths of how they play their S&D game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if they can figure it out, it kind of gives them another dimension of their search game. It's just going to be like impossible to tackle. It's like, yeah, if FaZe doesn't want to play Express. It's like, are you going to square up with them on their best maps, Moscow, for example, and Raid, or are you going to try and take a chance on Miami? If they're getting good at this map, then it's really pick your poison. I'll switch though to I think it was round 5 when MC clutched.
I think it was round 5. I think it was this one. I'm pretty sure, but
it was either 5 or 6.
I could be wrong. Who said on the show yesterday that Paris is really good at S&D and this and that this could be a close series? Did somebody say that yesterday?
No, Doug said that Paris is a good S&D team, and I don't think he's off base with that. I mean,
no, they are a good S&D team.
FaZe has been consistently the best S&D team the last 2 years.
FaZe is just in a league of their own.
But I don't think that was super off base from Doug. But I think we all agreed that FaZe is going to win this series.
Yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure. And look at Miles, it's coming home. Miles, it's not fucking coming home, brother. It's coming to Rome. You understand? It's not fucking going there. It's coming home. It's coming to Rome. Huh?
They clutched this? Wait, first off, how does number 7... So number 7's Garage, and he just gets behind all of them.
This is when fucking MC peels him off the boat.
First time, so I'm just watching it back here. So number 7 makes a really good play. You see Simp just being real sneaky. MC just sort of playing his life around this boat.
Bro, MC is fucking godlike, dude.
All right, so they shoot Matty in the back, and now it's a 2v2. I mean, that boat spot's like really, really good. MC's off of it now.
Kinda, bro. I feel like people have been getting peeled off that boat spot. Yeah, this is it. Watch this shit. MC, he challenges Zap. He wallbangs him through the car window. And then he's got Donnie Temp on a boat, and he peels
he hit him with some nice headshots there.
Oh, yeah. Great shots. Great fucking shots. Shout out to MC, man. I mean, look at the FaZe. You can see it in their face. Ben, rewind it to the player cams and pause it.
Rewind that video.
Pause it. Pause that shit.
Yeah.
Pause. No, keep going. A second more. Pause. Look at the fucking difference. You got one guy rubbing their eyes. You got one guy fucking leaning back.
That's the classic Don. Dude, I love Donnie, man. He sits so far away from his monitor, though. Like,
yeah, he does.
And it works for him. It's actually insane. Like, if you ever see him on a stage, like, most players are like, normal desk length. Don's like, almost off the back of the stage.
No, he close into bro. He used to be worse though. He used to be like literally like 3-4 feet back. Like
on the old like MLG stages.
Yeah. Like he used to go fucking rogue, and then he tightened it up a little bit. He moved up a little bit. You know who else used to do that? Rambo Ray. Ray used to do that shit, didn't he? Didn't Rambo he used to sit like super far away? And I think that's like one of those things where like if you're sitting farther away, you can like see your mini map better, you can see the screen better, But at the same time, I think when you're a little bit closer, you feel more into the game. Like your reacting time's a little bit better. Like you feel like you're just more into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Miracles too. I see Loony in the chat. Miracles.
Well, one thing I want to talk about this clutch. So, Phaser on offense is 10 seconds left. I just think if Donnie runs away, like if he just goes to Tiki, like runs to his left, like this round's over. Instead, he chows on the boat. Like he can finesse on the other side of the boat. Like I don't know. I think Don probably shouldn't have chowed down in retrospect with 10 seconds left.
Look at Don's face. I mean, the thing is, brother, there's 10 seconds left. If MC's getting a kill mid map, he's got no time. He's got no time to plan. Donnie just needs to stay down. He wins. The round's over. I mean, Donnie won. But I think at this point they're getting railed, and he tried to win a gun. I don't know. I really don't know. MC's probably sitting there. Let's get it, man. I just peeled him out the goat. Yeah, out the boat. You already know goat. Let's get it. Gonna get a hug. Let's get it go. I'm like, dude, like you can't take this guy seriously.
Bro, how you doing it so dirty?
Wait, how am I doing him dirty? That's how he sounds.
Because that's not MC doesn't say those things anymore, man. The things that MC said
no,
are
well,
not
here's the
appropriate
problem,
for
Ben.
stream.
MC changes up his gimmicks every month.
Yeah, now he's Irish apparently. That's his gimmick.
That's his gimmick. I thought he was Australian.
It's like Irish. I don't know. To be honest, the country's kind of hard to lock down. He's more doing it to piss off Abizi.
Oh my god, dude, this fucking kid.
He originally told me he was gonna be a conspiracy theorist for a month, but clearly he backed off of that gimmick.
No, I don't know what he's doing, but all I know is he'll probably end up in game chat saying some weird shit, throwing off his opponents. Listen, MC's a character, man. I wish MC would like stream more and like put himself out there more because he's a great kid and he's funny.
He told me he wants to stream in the off season when he goes home.
Like he's just fucking.
Because he's getting his bedroom redone.
Yeah, he's got his room looks nice, man. He's all excited he's getting his bedroom.
Dude, his bathroom is. I don't know. This is so random, guys. I know, but like, so MC's dad like does like builds and makes houses and shit, and they redid their house, and MC's got the nicest bathroom I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
It's just a random thing I know.
They're setting him up, man. They're setting it up. Shout out to MC, bro. He's got a nice little spot. And he's been showing me pictures of the new spot, and it looks dope, bro.
Yeah, it looks fire.
Looks fucking
Guys,
fire.
the internet upgraded finally, like.
And then we go into the control, and I'm pretty sure FaZe wins the first offense, and they end up 3-0 in the fucking control. 1-3.
This is a speed run.
It's a speed run. Fast forward is bitch. Because I don't feel like talking about it.
Wait,
I really don't.
FaZe
Chat, I'm going to be honest. Chat, I don't feel like talking about these series. I really don't. I'd rather skip through most of these series and just kind of fast forward through them all. We can talk about the second series a little bit. But even the second series, I mean, it was pretty. We'll talk about it when we get there. But fucking.
Listen, I dragged Parasite in here, Chris.
What's going on, Chris Parasite? Did you see the fucking the matches today?
A little bit, yeah. I was playing Cup. I was playing the Challenger Cup, so.
How'd the Challengers Cup go?
Not very good. We
Oh,
lost for top 8 to LAG Academy, but I mean, we don't really care for it because we're in the elite, so it was just practice for us.
Yeah, I mean,
this one doesn't count for us at all.
I mean, hey, LAG Academy is better than LAG. You know
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm
they're
saying?
not bad.
They're definitely
This is the
not
first
bad.
time they beat us. Our seed's pretty low, so they got the host 2 respawns from the West Coast. Was not fun, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
what
all
are you
good.
gonna do? You know, what are you gonna fucking do?
Chris, you're getting a little bit of echo on your mic, by the way. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, sorry. I'm on a different PC, so all my settings are kind of all fucked up. My bad.
Good. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Ben's echoing all the time.
Well, I fixed echo, but all good. Anyway, this map is basically over at this point. The Cat B. Not much else to say. I think we all predicted this was going to be a quick series.
Yeah.
For FaZe, they get the 2 easiest games in their group to start off. They go 2-0 as predicted. Pair struggles. For FaZe, though, I think it'll get more interesting in the coming weeks. They still got to play New York. They still got to play Optic. They still got to play Thieves. And those matches will be a little bit more interesting than the 2 we saw them play this week.
Yep.
The matches have been boring lately.
Oh,
No
it's so
bullshit.
boring.
Besides the New York one.
Can we talk about the viewer count? I mean, what did it max at today, chat? What did it max at? I saw you guys take 20.
The matches were bad today, though. So, like,
That's what I'm saying, though.
It's Saturday. Like, Optic's not playing. The matches are bad. Like, viewership's going to be what it is, man. Like, the weather, especially on the East Coast, was miserable all week, man. Like, you can attest, Tom. Like, it literally rained 3 inches. It finally got nice this weekend. Like, people want to go outside, do other stuff. So unless there's a prestige game on, you know, viewership is going to be what it is.
You want to know what I also think it is, Ben? I think people got a taste for LAN and the major, and I don't think like the viewership, besides unless the super big teams are playing, is going to struggle throughout the group stages, like even harder than it probably was before.
It always sucks, guys. We can literally, I can rewind. You can go to statistics from past years, man. Like, this happens every year. The summer starts, like, there are apex and peaks and valleys in the season. And this is one of those parts where, you know, it's building to a major. So sometimes viewership will be what it is. But when there are matches on the line, when things are there, people will tune in. So just kind of want to give context to that.
I mean, I saw Dan say that people aren't going to watch it till champs, which might be true. But I mean, tomorrow we have New York Optic. Like, people are watching that. I'm going to watch, like, New York Optic tomorrow is going to be lit. You know, I feel like that's gonna be a really good match. Like, there's definitely matches coming up that are exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I think today was just like it was just lopsided. Like, today there was just literally like the match. We knew what was happening before the match. The only match that could have been good was this one, and this one wasn't even that good. I mean, Florida pretty much blew them out. Not blew them out, but they pretty much smoked them in both hard points. And then what was the one match that that Seattle took? Was it the control?
They took the control. Preston had an insane, especially offense. I think what was the fourth round? They won 3-1. But this map actually wasn't. This map kind of got away from Seattle a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
And can you link me the watch together?
Yeah, I got you. And you're still echoing, by the way.
What the? What's that?
Yeah, so just go double check your mic if you wouldn't mind. And yeah, I mean, for Seattle, this is a weird. The difficulty with this series, man, is Florida. Again, it is like they're the hardest team to predict. We have seen in the last like month and a half that they are and can be a very good team. And then they go to these majors and they don't put it together, or they play against good teams online. Sometimes they don't put it together, and it's so hard to figure out what box to put them in. And it's starting to be the same thing for Seattle. You know, they had a pretty, like, I'll admit it, like they played pretty good on land, mind you. It wasn't against the most elite teams in the world, but they were playing well. And in this series, it just seemed like, I don't know if like their chemistry was off a little bit. The slaying wasn't there. And they didn't look particularly good in that S&D. It's their first match of the week, I think, right? It's first match of the stage. So, you know, shit can happen. But they're in a position where they need to win out to have any chance of making champs. And it's not the start they wanted.
Yeah, definitely not the start they wanted. Sorry, I was just, I was going to try and see if I could get Soap on the show today. Join up on.
Well, Soap's taking shots, so maybe we shouldn't do that.
Oh shit. Okay, maybe not.
Oh, by the way, how's my mic?
You sound good, bro. You sound
Sound
fantastic.
Perfect, thank you.
But yeah, I think the game just got a little bit too far away from Seattle. Do you want to go on board with the listening? I'm down if you want to do a listening.
Let me go back a little bit, and then we can start.
All right, here we go.
Let's get back out.
Yeah.
He's out. L1. All dead. I've useless.
Looking useless.
Useless weak. I'm standing up from him.
I'll go for it.
I was not peeking. 14 seconds here, guys.
Nice, I'm working on mid here.
What about you? We're gonna be tough.
Oh, one top. I'm winning useless.
Yeah, I have an AR. I'm trying to play. Let's see the guy hot. Let's see the guy hot. Peeking. He could be back tree and picking it right now.
Top in the corner. All right, Joe's top.
Come on ammo truck. On the truck. On the truck.
He's in the middle.
Guys, one is.
He's one shot.
One is push up B3 here. One is push up. Literally, if we're spawning out like this.
There we go. Let's zoom low. We kill this guy. We could go back.
In coop.
I can
Top TV. One got me winner. Top TV drop down. There you go. One in coop as well.
Yeah.
He ran away. One is in coop right now. You can try to hit to the right if you want.
Is it like in useless or L? Useless or L?
He's L. Drop ammo.
L Havoc, one shot. One's in court as well.
He's out. Guys down.
Alright, I'm getting this shit. You know what? I'm tired of these listenings. Can they fix this shit? They gotta fix this. They have a delay.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I mean, come on.
I thought it had something to do with the major and the way they were like handling it, but it's happened online now, like for the last two days of the stage.
Hey, listen, I do listenings with fucking 8s, and my shit sounds good. Just doing it in fucking TeamSpeak. There should be an easy way to do this. There should be no, you know what I'm saying, Chris? There has to be a way to get this shit fixed. There has to be. If they can't figure that out, it's pathetic, bro. I can't listen to. I can't do it. I can't listen to listenings. And bro, the thing is like. This was a problem a few weeks ago, and I was sitting here like, you know, the colleague will figure it out. They'll fix it, whatever the production, like, they understand it. They're going to fix it. Like, I'm sure they're going to fix it. And it's still a problem. Like, I don't want to keep... listen, I feel like I cut them some slack a lot because I know how hard they work over there. But let's fix the listenings, man. Please, if they're hearing me, you know I want to see the league go far and do big things. We got to fix the listenings. Because, I can't even I don't even know what the fuck's going on. It's so fucking delayed. It's like 7-8 seconds delayed. Like, it's not even like 2-3 seconds. Sometimes it was 2-3 seconds. I wasn't even that bad. But this is like ridiculous. There's no point. Don't go into a listening. Don't do it. Because people that are watching and are new to COD probably don't even know what the fuck's going on. You know what I'm saying?
I wanna move to a second. So I actually didn't catch this the first time I watched this. Seattle kind of bungled this. Watch what they do. They're gonna have a player spawn out because they don't block the back, and they end up getting spawned behind. Here with the guy pinching from Turtle.
What do you mean?
So you see the green team here at Seattle.
They all push.
They have a great setup for P5 here. Like Preston's finessing around top TV. They got a guy in Hill. They got a guy old. Like you've got a good setup here. and they all just kind of hit the hill.
Yeah, they
and
troll.
nobody blocks. And then one guy spawns about as far away from the hill as you possibly can, P2. And this ended up being a big thing. Florida was up 30. Now they have spawns and hill control. And, I think Seattle's able to break from the front, but it was a missed opportunity to really swing the game in their favor. Again, we have talked about time and time again. You just, at this level, you just can't make mistakes like that. If you want to be a consistently good team in the league.
All that really happened there, Tom and Ben, was they just didn't wait for the person spawning to spawn because like they all gave it up assuming that he was going to spawn behind them, and I think Caesar ended up getting there fast enough to block the spawn. That's all it was. Like in this game, you just have to wait until your teammate spawns before you give up your
discipline.
block.
I mean, it's just discipline. I mean, come on, man. It's like Ben said. It's not acceptable, man. Like, you're in the pro league. Block the fucking back. It's coming. Bro, we've been blocking the back for a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's not like it's common shit. I mean, Parasite was doing it in Black Ops 2, the fucking anchor. You know what I'm saying? Parasite, one of the best anchors in the game. Fucking block the back. Block the fucking back.
I get that, but they don't make, I mean, they're all spawning up behind the hill. There's no, like, filling mid or trying to watch any kind of cross or pick up a full pinch there. So, like, I get what you're saying, Chris. But I also think that they probably didn't execute their system there on top of that.
Yeah.
Even if they were just trying to assume the guy spawns in the back, well, none of you guys are going to pick the pinch, and it's pretty common that someone's going to try and pinch your old, especially at the start of this hill.
Parasite was,
especially if they're spawning deep at old.
Why is Loony saying Parasite is no anchor? Chris, I thought that was your position.
No, so anchoring isn't even a thing anymore. We like
no, not anymore. I'm saying back in Black Ops 2, it was definitely a thing in Black Ops 2.
Definitely. Yeah, I was marinating in the back. I was definitely marinating the back.
Loony, what the fuck are you talking about? That boy was a slayer. He was a triple threat. He was a slayer, a fucking support player, an anchor. Who can't anchor, Damon? Who can't anchor? You remember that, Chris?
Yes, I
do.
Good fucking
times,
actually.
Bro. Good fucking times.
I remember when you used to be able to talk like that in a game. Now it's just like you'll just get fined. Like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, good times, Chris, huh? Good fucking times.
Good fucking times.
But at the same time, you know, I think COD came a long way as well.
Wait, Tommy, you remember off topic? We used to play together in BO2 S&D tournaments.
Yeah, S&D tournaments.
And I said you were so good. I was like, this guy's gonna be a pro.
Yeah,
you remember that?
You were like one of the only ones who gassed me up when I was.
I always gas up young talent, bro. I've always done that.
I've always said that. I said when I was coming up, everybody talks shit, but you always gave me credit. You gave me credit, and then Sloss used to give me some credit here or there, but like there was most of the pros just talk shit about me. You know, they used to say I'm an onliner, this and that. And I was a fucking hothead. You know, I mean, Chris, you know, me and you have fucking gone at it before.
Oh,
you know
yeah, I mean, we've all been there, bro.
I was just a fucking immature. I was immature, and, you know, when I have people talking shit to me, I used to tell them to go fuck themselves. You know what I'm saying?
You're an kid bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I used to tell them to go fuck themselves. I said, who the fuck are you? You were a pro. I said, I don't give a fuck. Wait till I get to that fucking event. I used to tell Pat, I said, Complexity, wait till I get there. That Complexity team's not winning no more. And that's what happened. That fucking Pat.
Shout out Denial.
Actually, no shout outs to Denial. I wish Pat was here because Pat, we were going into it a little bit on the last show, but you know that EG team, that Evil Geniuses team? I was supposed to join that team. It was supposed to be me, Aches, Crim, and
they got Dito or whatever.
Yeah, they got Dito because I ended up not leaving my team. I ended up staying with my team because I don't know what happened, but I wonder what would have happened to my career if I went that route. If I took that EG spot and played with Crim and Pat. But I thought they were trash. Yeah, I had such a big ego, bro. I just remember being like, that EG team sucks. I fucking wax these kids every time I play them. But I mean, it was fucking people like Pat and fucking Crim, you know? So, like, it could have been a good place for me to go. You know, I was just a fucking prick. So, I'm you know, I always wonder about stuff like that. Chris, you ever think about that? Like, what if I would have done this or joined this team or done that?
I obviously always think about like, oh, what if I wasn't a dickhead when I was a kid? Because I was like, I got a taste of winning and I was a 17, 18-year-old kid, and I just literally talk shit to everyone, bro. I used to get in feuds with Optic, like I was an Optic hater, like all that type of shit, because we were better than them at the time, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I always think about that. But there was actually a funny story. I have a moment like that. So in AW, I ended the year with like Nagathon, Royalty, Remy, Aqua, whatever.
Yeah.
I could have stayed on their team going into BO3, and they ended up placing third at champs. They had a good year on Elevate was their team at the time, but I ended up leaving and joining with like Ricky, Nameless, and Miracles, because obviously I was like, oh, Black Ops 3.
That's a tough Black Ops 3 team.
Oh,
right there.
Yeah, and I ended up leaving their team, and they had a successful year, and my year was freaking horrendous. So I was just like, man, I wish I would have stayed on that team, man.
Yeah. It's like little things like that. Like It's just like, for me, it was like the Optic one, the EG one. Like, what would have happened if I went there, went here, did this? What would have happened if FaZe would have got us a BZ for 20 grand in Black Ops 4?
It would have been more than 20 grand, but okay. I mean, tell
all
yourself
right,
what you think it is.
hey, 60 grand, 50 grand.
I knew you were a FaZe guy, most of your career. But you would, I think you would have done well in Optic, bro, for that like one on that brand.
That team, that World War team, that team would have made way more sense if you had joined.
Yeah, you would have done good on that team. That would, dude, that'd be crazy seeing you in an Optic jersey.
Yeah, it would have been me, Scump, Crim, and Octane. That would have been our team going into champs. The thing is, with the Optic team, you know what worried me with Optic was the loyalty. Like, if we went to champs and didn't do good,
yeah,
like they're gonna Crim and Scump were unchoppable at the time, and Octane's the main AR. Like, I would have been the odd one out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we didn't do good, I feel like I would have been the one to go. And at that point, it's like, if we don't do good, I'm gone, and fucking now I lost my spot on FaZe. You know what I'm saying? So it was, and then on top of that, our FaZe team at the time I thought was better. I thought we were in World War II.
Yeah, I mean, you guys won.
We had just won season 1, and we were a really good team. Like, we just from practice and stuff. Like, we didn't even lose maps in practice. Like, we were really fucking good. But at the same time, I've always wanted to play with Scump. Always wanted to play with Crim. Like, I admire those guys. I respect those guys. So it was a really tough decision. Like, I really wanted to play for them. But it was just one of those. I had to be smart with what I was doing, and FaZe had me under contract. Like, technically, FaZe could be like, dude, you're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So when they offered me a big contract and said take it or leave it, I felt obligated to take it, because if I leave it, I burn my bridge. It's done. I mean, I'm with it. This is an organization who.
Oh wait, I remember that was. Wait, Tommy, you don't have to talk details, but there was rumors about it. That contract was huge.
Oh,
Tommy got the bag, bro.
It changed the Call of Duty League forever.
Yeah, that was CDL numbers. Like, damn near.
I think the highest salary in the league was $7K a month, chat, and
you blew past that.
And FaZe offered me $20K a month. They offered me $20,000 a month.
There it is.
And they said the guy who worked at FaZe at the time, his name was Sebastian, and I'm not talking Seabass. It was another Sebastian. He ended up saying to me, he said, "Take it or leave it." He was a Norwegian guy, so you take it or you leave it. You either take it at 20K or you lose it. I said, okay, well, I'm taking it. I mean, I might as well. I had talked to Hector before the meeting, and Hector was like, I mean, see what they offer you. Because Hector was, he was like, I understand that you're going into negotiation. I understand how this shit works. I mean, he goes, realistically, like, unless they offer you anywhere around 20,000 a month, 18 to 20,000 a month, we could give you something good over here. But unless they offer you something around 18 to 20, then you should take that.
Yeah, you were what, 20, 21 years old at the time, probably?
Yeah,
Tommy?
I was young.
That's an absurd amount of money if you think about it. It's $250,000.
Yeah, I was young. And then Hector goes, there's no way they offer you 20K. I said, yeah, Hector, they're not going to offer me that, but we'll see. Like, I want them, because I had my own problems going on with the organization. Like, they wouldn't get players I wanted, and we had some fallouts here and there. Most of the people that I did have fallouts with in FaZe aren't even there anymore, and I'm talking mainly about that Sebastian prick. Fuck that guy. But I was talking to him a little bit, and I was talking to Hector. And then when I told Hector what was going on, he was like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" I mean, it was crazy money, guys. And then after that, that's when the following year, when everybody's contract was up. What do you guys think? No, guys, I'm not talking about Seabass. Don't say Seabass, because Seabass is the GOAT.
He's talking about a different Sebastian.
I'm talking about a different Sebastian, guys.
One-time CEO of FaZe who isn't with the organization anymore.
Yeah, he's not with the organization anymore because he's a fucking asshole. But not Seabass, guys. I love Seabass. I love Seabass. He's the fucking goat.
Seabass is a big fan of this show, by the way, Tom.
Yeah, Seabass is always watching. He's always watching.
About our show.
Seabass is the fucking man.
I remember at X Games Austin, he was there, and we had a big ass group. Dude. We went to the Kanye concert at the X Games that they had. It was actually so lit.
I mean, dude, I love everybody in FaZe. I mean, those guys are like family to me over there. I was there for so long when. There's other people behind FaZe at the time that were leading some of these decisions. But when it comes to like the people in FaZe and Eric Anderson and all those other guys, like I absolutely love those guys. Like those guys are family. They've always helped me and had my back through rough times, even outside of the game, even when it came to personal stuff, they always had my back. So
yeah,
you know, those FaZe guys have a special place for me in my heart, you know. But
Tommy, your story actually just has me remembering all these like what ifs. Oh, if you want to continue the gameplay, we can like
I
go through that. By the
put
way,
a pause on a second because I just want to talk about this.
Well, I have
The
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
After that contract, that's when you start to see contracts really starting to hit the fan, because the following year when everybody's contracts are up, everybody's like, well, you know, Zoomaa's on 20K. So if he's on 20K, then I want this, or I'll go this or that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how.
Well, yeah, because you had traditionally the way it worked, right? Optic, FaZe, and Envy basically drove the market up from like 3K to 4K, then 7 to 8K. Then you got offered that deal. Then suddenly players on LG wanted that money, players on Optic wanted that money. So then everybody was matching, and that number, like, you know, it started to trickle down. Like people that I'm not going to name specific people, but people were getting.
We'll sum it up. I made all the COD gamers
yeah.
rich, guys. I made all the COD gamers rich. We'll sum it up. All right. It was funny.
You gotta
too.
send him an invoice, Tom.
It was funny too, because when I went into the meeting with Sebastian, I said, Sebastian, you gotta give me something real fucking good here, because you know I feel like I deserve it. You know, I feel I've been through a lot of shit because we had a lot of problems through FaZe. They wouldn't get certain players I wanted. We had a lot of fallouts, a lot of problems, and I said, listen, I want a good fucking deal here, or else I'm gonna be really pissed off. And he goes, we'll give you 20K, but you gotta sign it right now. Blah, blah, blah. But there we go. Let's get into the match. But there's a little story for you
There's
guys.
one thing to talk about from this series is this round here. So some good work from, just to give context because we were talking through it. So Florida's actually up 5-3 in this map, and they kind of blew 2 rounds. Classic clutched up. And it goes to this 5-5. And a lot of mix happens. Some unfortunate stuff goes down. To start off, you get some just good mix, good action statue. You're going to see more stuff going down middle. And then this happens. I think that Seattle got mega unlucky. What happens to Preston here? Dies to a trophy. I'm not sure if it's his trophy or someone else's trophy.
He throws his trophy down. It's his.
Yeah, it throws it right next to him. You'll see it's right by the planter.
I mean, to be fair, he was probably one shot, so he threw a trophy down, so he didn't get naded. And if he didn't throw the trophy down, the nade probably would have killed him. I mean, they probably naded it. So it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I mean, he was, you know, they probably tried to nade him out. He probably would have died anyway, unless he somehow finessed and dodged the nade, which he could have have done. Bro, that's why I don't like throwing trophies down when you're super one-shot, because they're going to kill you. When I'm super bro, what I fucking play, half the time I don't even throw my fucking trophy because I'm playing rank play, just going rogue. But, I mean, when I see a lot of players that are super one-shot throw a trophy down, I'm always like, oh, no. Like, be careful. Like, you should always give it a second or two until you regen a little bit. But I can see why people do it. But definitely unfortunate, Ben.
And then where this round goes is, and this is why I think some teams are great S&D and some teams struggle, is that Seattle's kind of default reaction here is to hold. And sometimes that works. You're forcing a team to make a mistake, but the onus on them. They need to get the bomb out of window. They need to do something. And instead they hold. You're going to watch Octane #1 get picked down across the street. And then at this point it's a wrap because Gunless is nowhere to go and not a lot of time to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a fucking wrap, and I think this was a big map as well for Seattle.
Yeah, it'd be great if they get 1-1, go into checkmate control, which is a game they're getting better at. Like, it would have been interesting. Instead,
even though Sam got picked there, good awareness by him to kind of hide himself from the flank. To be honest, like he literally got the best timing there, even though he died. But whatever.
100%. Listen, I just want to address some things that I see in the chat. I see somebody saying it's different. Zoomaa on that roster would have been a more championship caliber team, going back to like the Optic FaZe shit. Dude, our FaZe team was disgusting. I mean, we got top 3 at champs. We got top 3 at champs, and we arguably should have won that event. A lot of pro players would say that we were the best team at that event. We threw, and that one hurts a lot because World War II.
That year could have been better if we were just like, dude. The reasons why we're getting top 12 that year at Atlanta events were actually comical.
Yeah,
like
we would do
we should have had a couple of top 4s and top 6s in there. I think Hardpoint was just sort of super up and down for us all year. Like the other 2 game modes. Tom, like we statistically were the best S&D team in the game. It was us and Unilat, and you guys have won quite a few more maps than Unilat had. CTF, you guys were up there. After you guys lost to Andrew Onyx online in like the second month of the game, and Chris lost full.
Yeah,
you guys got good at CTF.
Definitely lost full.
And then Hardpoint kind of came together at the end, and I think that's why that chance run kind of happened.
Yep, and then talking about the contract as well, I actually declined the 20K a month contract at first. I declined it. I said, Sebastian, I'm not taking this. He goes, why not? I said, well, if I'm making this, I can't make that much more than my teammates. We're a good team. We all deserve a lot more. So if you're going to give me this, my teammates need to get a huge raise. And then he doubled my teammate's salary. He doubled everybody else's salary. And then I accepted it once he told me he doubled everybody else's salary.
Funny story. Like you're just mentioning what ifs. I remember 2 more. There's one in MW where during the beta, like when CDL teams were getting signed for the first the inaugural season, I got hit up by London to join their team, and it was going to be me, Scraps, I think Wuskin, and Dylan or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, like, they contacted me, they all got on a call, and they basically were telling me that, like, oh yeah, we want to play with you, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told me the salary numbers, and this is just a funny thing because I was like, oh, what kind of salary are you looking for? And I was like, I don't know, I've never been paid like this much money. So I was like, I don't know, 10. I said 10K, and they laughed at me. They said you could at least get 18, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then I was super hyped up, and then like 2 days go by, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them, and they get back to me and they tell me they're playing with Rated instead. And I lost full composure. And then the same thing happened this year. Towards the end of the season or the end of the roster period, I was approached by Paris, and they said, "Oh yeah, we're like looking to pick you up and stuff like that." It was because Fire was vouching for me. Shout out to my boy.
Yeah.
He was vouching for me, and I was supposed to play on that team with Scraps again, Fire, and I think Aqua. And then like a day, 2 goes by, and then the same thing happens. They said they wanted to play with like I think Nick or something.
I mean,
I was just like, Jesus Christ,
so
man.
much, man. It happens so much where like people are, they say one thing to you, and then a day or 2 goes by, and everything changes. I mean, it's happened so many times.
I've never been teased so much more in my life. I was like, oh, finally I get to start in the league. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. And I saw a couple people saying cap about what I said. I mean, you can ask my teammates if you don't believe me. Go ask Attach, Chris, and Priesta at the time. They all got raises. They'll tell you themselves.
Yeah.
And Ben will tell you too.
But I mean, you're not capping. But getting back to this map, Tom, do you know that with this win, Seattle's won 6 control maps in a row?
I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, they're a good control
After they were just abysmal at this game mode. It's still listen, like we talked about earlier, like they had that good decent run at LAN.
Look at
they lost this series.
Look at them.
But if they can just the win conditions are starting to get there for this team. It's maybe a little bit too late, but if they're rounding in control, they get more consistent at S&D, win 50% of your hard points. It's a 3-1 right there.
Dude?
Yeah, bro. You see him? He's going
dancing,
rogue, bro. Ben, I agree with you. I mean, you know what I love about this roster is they have that roster where if things aren't going right, they know how to fix them. Like they have a lot of veteran players.
It's just too late though. That's the only thing. Like,
I know.
The margin for error is like that.
But what do you think next year? You see a whole new look to the Seattle team next year?
If they continue to perform well, like granted, obviously their season is pretty chalked in terms of like going to champs and stuff like that. If they continue to perform well, like at least be competitive throughout the rest of the stage and the major and stuff like that, then I don't know. I think they'll look to keep at least a few of them, if not one of them at least.
I think that especially Octane and Gunless, if they are free agents in this season, are going to get offers on their teams. So I don't know how successful they will be if they want to keep the core of this together or if that's the right decision. I think that's one of the interesting storylines going to Roster Mania because I feel like there's a lot of teams that need a little bit more leadership and a little bit more work ethic, and Gunless brings that. And we know the skill ceiling that Octane has, and he can upgrade a few teams.
Oh yeah, and a lot of the Sam's probably done with his 2-year, right? He probably signed a 2-year.
Yeah,
I'd assume.
I mean, we don't know. It's not public.
Ben,
so
let me ask you something though,
Ben. True.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. All right, let's start with Octane. All right.
Yeah.
Who's offering Octane a spot? Who?
The team they used to be on before franchise.
I could see.
He's not going to LATs. He's not going to LATs.
I could see it.
Nah.
I mean, you're teling me that you don't think there's a % chance
I know.
that Thieves are in the mix.
Okay, maybe Thieves, but I feel like right now they have Slasher and they have AR players. They have those ARs unless they want to get rid of Austin.
Listen, Thieves, Minnesota, Florida could definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Florida, LAG. I mean, Florida is a little bit with Skies. I like Skies, so maybe not so much that one.
But think about some of these teams,
in terms of the American teams, Minnesota, LAG, Thieves, I can definitely see in the mix. Obviously, New York's spoken for, Atlanta's spoken for. I don't think Dallas is dropping Crim for him, and I don't see how it makes it work with Optic. And there could be more. I mean, if London and Paris are throwing around some cash, like that's what I'm saying. Like he is going to be entertaining offers if he is a free agent. I don't know for certain.
100%.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, I was just thinking more like a lot of these teams are not going to be able to pay what Octane's looking for, or not going to want to pay what he's looking for. And I wonder if we're going to see a lot of salaries go down, Ben. What do you think now that we're coming at? Because guys, we're getting to the point now where everybody signed 2-year contracts. Everybody signed 1+1s. A lot of people took their option going into the second year. So a lot of people are free agents at the end of the year. And I don't know if some of these franchise teams are willing to go as high as they went initially.
That's a great question, Tom.
Mhm.
I think the biggest wild card now is we have to see if there's any new rule changes for next year. I think that will dictate if there's any momentum to drive the player cost market down. I think it's hard to predict at this point.
I mean, this was in the Overwatch League. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was like some investigation being done by, I forgot exactly what.
So like the issue is that so there's an article discussed about Overwatch League, and it comes down to a technical thing with labor and the salary cap, and having a salary cap if you don't have a CBA agreement, like if the players don't contractually bargain for their rights. I think the DOJ is looking into it, but we don't know more than that. CDL has a similar salary cap from my understanding.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Things could be shaken up.
Effects.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't know exactly what the deal is, but that could be one of the catalysts to salaries changing.
But that's not going to change. If anything, that would drive salaries up, though. If the soft cap goes away, then salaries will go up because teams are going to be willing to spend more because they don't have to deal with a soft luxury tax.
Salary caps go up, and the BZ fucking simp varsities, those guys are going nowhere. Ever.
I mean, they're not going anywhere to begin with. I mean, those guys are not going to take, even if it's say $100,000. I mean, they're not going to take $100,000 increase on their salary to go play somewhere else. They're not going to do it.
When they can make $100,000+ in prize money.
Yeah. And they get the championships on top of it.
We talked about it in the last show. The core three of that team, Tom, will have at the end of the season made more than, it's going to probably end up being more like $750,000, maybe close to $1 million. They're easily going to clear $500,000 in 2 years in prize money.
That's true.
Just think about that.
Wasn't there an argument on Twitter, Ben, about people, or somebody said that the salary cap needs to go down or something, so there could be a spread of talent or something like that? What was it?
That's
somebody was tweeting something like that. I can't remember who it was.
The salary cap is a soft cap. It's not a hard cap. It's not going to change it. And I also saw the argument that 12, the 16 teams, that's not going to change it either. I think a lot of it, what is going to come down to a team like FaZe, is just very simple. It's not about the money. Don't think about it as the money. The fact of the matter is the players want to team with each other.
Yeah, and they're going to make that money anyways.
They're going to win. Anyway, yeah. So why would I go take a few extra bucks to go team with someone, be miserable and not win, over teaming with a team that I know that we are going to, at the end of the year, be in the grand finals of champs and have an opportunity to win it.
Yeah,
that's the thought process that's going on there.
Yeah, I think that shit's just chalk now. They just got allowed to form, and now it's just chalk for the rest of eternity until they stop winning.
There's so much shit to think about next year too, because I feel like building rosters going into next year, people are gonna build a roster to try and counter FaZe. I mean, how are we gonna beat FaZe? Let's build a roster to beat FaZe.
Yeah, but right? is there enough talent for most of those teams in the to build rosters that?
I mean, teams are gonna have to.
I think they're 100%.
Yeah, teams are gonna have to figure out the right combination of players to match their energy. You know, kind of like what Dallas did last year. But the thing is it's a lot harder to do that. You know,
my guess, Tom, is I think that the teams that are at the top right now, in terms of the mix of New York, Dallas, Optic, going in the offseason, all have an opportunity to be that team. First off, I think everybody sleeps on Toronto. I think the core of that team is extremely good. Just never gets in these conversations, and their work ethic's incredible. I really like New York. I think the biggest limiter for New York is just Hydra's got to be able, not just to be able to speak English, but he's got to be able to understand English, think English. That's going to take time, and they're just going to need a gel. And for Dallas, it's just kind of getting back to that form. I think they've got the talent for them. To me, maybe the weakest is Ender, but he played well at LAN.
Wait, he's been playing well.
He's been playing well.
Yeah, he's been playing well. So I think it would be
at the top level.
It's not an opportunity.
No, at the top level there is. Right at the top level, I think there is, because all those teams are going to have their pick of the litter in terms of the top talent that is coming from the lower teams. But on the lower end, and I'm not even saying this because I'm in challengers, we need to see a influx of challenger players. And I know, right, if it's especially if we don't expand. I know that there's a lot of veterans like myself, Zinni, et cetera, that are looking in from the outside, but at the same time, we need to grow our talent pool, And if we're going to sit there and make these terrible makeshift rosters, and at the same time, some of these organizations and franchises are going to be paying, like, let's say Zinni, for example, and like Zinni's a good player, but Zinni has a really good big brand. Like, so obviously he's going to end up he's going to get paid more, right? And I'm not saying Zinni shouldn't be on a roster, but I'm saying, like, why pay more for X player, not Zinni, just saying, it's just an example.
Yeah.
Why pay more for X player when the roster is probably not going to perform the best, looking at the talent that we can get? And let's start investing in some unknown talent seeing how they can grow.
I want to stop you there because I agree with you, and I'll tell you exactly why it's not happening. And this is not to, like, fault players or teams for this. This league is very new. You do not have front offices in many cases that have a lot of Call of Duty experience.
Yeah.
And let's look at some of the teams that are at the top of the league and while they're there. Chicago, Hector has managed a lot of teams over the years. FaZe, you've got Crowder and RJ who have been in the scene and coaching for a very long time. You've got Dallas, Robert Way, who just like Chris used to compete, and Hash, who's owned a lot of teams. Thieves, you've got that experience. Like, there are a lot of other teams on the bottom end of the league that don't have that experience, don't have talent in the front office. You're right. I'm circling back. They don't have the talent in the front office where they're not leaning on the players to provide that gaps in knowledge.
No,
right?
I'm speaking about like, okay, for example, like LAG. LAG definitely has that. They have people that have been involved in Call of Duty for a long time with Bevels and Ricky. And then not even that. Like, I'm saying, like, okay, if you're gonna keep somebody on the roster that is like a veteran, or you want to sign a veteran, like, by all means, get your Zinni, get your Me, get your Slack, whatever, etc. Whoever you want to invest in. I'm talking about the rest of the pieces. They need to stop being like, okay, we want you. Who do you want to play with? And recycling the same players. And it's not because
you know it as well as I know it. Tom, you know it too. The pro players are very particular sometimes, and we're not going to sit here and name and shame people because I think it's pointless. We're going to get a circular argument. They're going to come into this team, speak yada yada. Yeah. They get, like, when it comes to glue guys and glue individuals like that to finish teams, they get consulted, and oftentimes they're not willing to take risks. But look at the teams that do. They're the ones that have excelled over the last couple of years because they're willing to take a chance on a talented young player. Look, sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. Look at the Dallas team last year, for example. You know, no one really wanted a team with Shotzi and Ender. Just like I made that comment about the FaZe thing a couple of shows ago. Yeah. You know, there are a lot of people that spermed Dallas. And I think those guys were on a chip on their shoulder because a lot of players were looking at the roster and they didn't think it was going to be very good. Yeah. Well, they ended up winning champs, so it worked out for them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I've said this 7 million times. I just want not only those franchises, but the players that do get these opportunities where they can, like, essentially have a say in building their squads, even though they might not be in an ideal situation. They need to stop recycling players, period. Take some risk, because these players, these veterans, are going to be there. They're not going anywhere. Find the talent, because if there's not enough talent to go around that, like, already, start finding it, because that's the only way you're going to find these people that are going to be contending, whether it's this year or the next year.
The challenger system needs to be better to entice teams to actually have full-on academy rosters, to actually look at the talent. You cannot look at challengers and see who's getting kills and say this guy needs a pro league spot. I'll use Venom as an example. Venom was incredibly good in challengers, nowhere near as good at the pro level.
Oh yeah,
So there's obviously players who come from challengers and they're going to do great, and there are challengers who are going to play against actual professionals, and they're not going to host fuck the pros, and it's a completely different ball game.
But I understand. I know the situation as much as you do.
But you can't compare Venom.
No, before I go, Venom was playing well, like he was playing all right, but he was not playing anywhere near to the level he was playing in challengers.
Yeah, but that might not necessarily be like all up to him.
Why? I don't know why we're roasting Venom. But I kind of see the point you're saying.
Wait, no, I'm not roasting Venom at all, but he was at the very top of challengers. He got to the pro level and he wasn't that outstanding.
Okay, and then you look at players like Paul X that were
what is your greater point here? There are going to be players, look, specific to Venom, right?
There's players who are special.
He was on a Thieves team where he's forced to be entry. There are a lot of people pre-aiming and baiting him, like he wasn't getting like miraculous two pieces like you would see a BZ do, but I wouldn't say that he was playing like horrendously awful at the pro level.
I didn't say that either, but I said he was not as outstanding at the pro
Yeah,
level,
but-
and not everybody's going to be.
Okay,
Yeah, but
let me-
we're not saying that. So like, there's this argument where it's like, okay, I'm sorry, Tom.
No, you're
There's
good.
this
You're
argument that I-
good. You're good. You're good.
There's this argument that like I saw Slasher tweet and something like that. If you're good enough, if you're undeniable, this is the thing that I hate. You'll get in. And yes, I agree. If you're undeniable, like you'll get a spot. But at the same time, and this isn't even shot at like anybody like specifically, but there's sure as hell a lot of players that are veterans that are fucking deniable as fuck. And I say that with confidence because I've seen them play for years and they have not shown me anything that warrants them.
Well, I'll take a direct shot. We're literally watching this LAG team play right now. And again, please, Bevels and Ricky, if you guys hear this, LAG management, would love to get you guys on the show and understand, because I think this team, unfortunately, is a good example. I think going into this year, I would still like to know kind of the logic on what was the thought process with this team, what they think their ceiling was, and what was their goal was. Because what they've done now is they let Reese Vivid, and I know there was some internal stuff going on there, and I think he had some disagreement with the coaching staff, but they let him walk to a Dallas team that just got second. And now this LAG team, yeah, they won a hard point yesterday, breaking a 12 hard point lose streak. This is a 20-minute series, and they were very lucky they didn't get 20-point clubbed in this map.
Okay, but listen, if we're going to sit here and say that, I did not use Venom as an example to like roast the kid. I think he's good. I was just saying like his high in challengers wasn't reached at the pro level.
Right,
and if we're going to say he was put into a rough spot on that team, then you have to say that. Then you can say that about every single player. You can say, oh, you put Assault on FaZe, who do well. You put Mental on Dallas, he'd probably be playing better. Like you can use that for every single player.
But there's also, but listen, okay, let me talk now, because I've been trying to fucking talk for about 10 fucking minutes now. Fuck.
Yeah.
One, I was gonna say what Loony said in the chat. One, where Zinni already acknowledged it. I was trying to say that before. He got put into a shit situation. Two, there's certain people who are young talent, like MC and fucking Priesta and all these other guys, who I personally don't even compare them to Venom. Like there's people, young talent, that people didn't even want to pick up. Somebody like Celium, Priesta, fucking Asum, where people weren't even fucking even looking or even giving a fuck at them. And I'm sitting there like, dude, these kids are fucking gross. Like, they're special talents.
Best, like, individual stats, and it was a small sample size, by the way. Best individual stats in Infinite Warfare,
right.
And there was zero interest in the guy.
It
was
like,
mind-blowing.
Hold on. You're forgetting a key point, though. Like, people that played with him were saying negative things about him, which is going to happen.
Exactly
what always happens. That's what always happens, though.
Okay, but that's not people not recognizing the talent. For example, you cannot say, looking at Asum on your Black Ops 4 team, that you think he would be this good at this game. There is no way, unless you had actual first-hand knowledge.
What do you mean?
No. So
Zin, that's the problem, Zin, is all these pros always try to tear these up-and-coming players down. They did it to me.
No room to grow, bro.
They don't want no. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's be honest here. Pro players don't want. Some pro players have big egos. They don't want to see some of these young guys come up and make a name for themselves. They'll have if a veteran player picks up a young player and they lose an event, who's gonna get the blame? The new guy in the fucking team. The new guy. That's how it. Zin, that's how it's always been, Zin. That's how it's always been.
Can we talk about Asum thing?
Not anymore, though.
Hold on. I'm going to go back to the Asum thing, man. Tom and I have known Asum for a long time. Whenever we talk to Asum, the biggest shortcoming in his game is you have undeniable gun skill. Like, this kid, you could tell he has the ability to shoot. It was the decision-making. Learning to pace the game better. Yeah, you want to play as a crack sub, but make the plays that someone like a Simp does, where you're letting the game come to you. And that is the biggest development that I think Asum has done over the last year and a half. I actually think that the Minnesota team and the coaching staff should give some credit, because you start to see that play style start to develop into his game last year. And I tweeted, by the way, I was mind blown that he got 0 offers after that season. Because his teammates did not play well as a team. He got 0 offers. He got in a New York team, continue that development, and that's why he's good.
And listen, pro players don't even make opinions for themselves, like Zinni just said. You know, they sit in TeamSpeak, they talk shit about certain people, and then people don't pick them up.
You're just leaving out key points. There were people on your FaZe team saying negative things about Asum. So to sit here and say it was all positive from the FaZe camp is completely false. Because I remember the conversations like they were yesterday. Like, there's two sides to every story, and also go back to my original point. I think challengers needs to have a better system so pros can actually look at the play. Or, sorry, not pros. Pros and coaches can actually like like look at LAG Academy, right? Like I actually like that they have a full actual roster and the coaches are actually involved in some capacity, because at least you can like look at their tendencies and see what they're actually doing instead of just looking at, okay, this guy's dropping 40 on his triple West Coast host.
But Zinni, you just made my point, Zin. You just made my point by saying there was people on the FaZe team that were talking. Exactly, that's my point. Why would you talk shit about Asim? He was phenomenal on our FaZe team. He was great for us.
Listen, Tom,
that made my point. That makes my point.
Hold on, guys. I want to take that one step further. I actually don't mind this. I agree with you. The neutral host thing, if they can fix that, I actually think this challenger system is great. Yeah, we've got a lot of really but think about it, right? It's going to get better with live events when they come back, because you're going to be able to actually have challenger stuff on LAN. Well, I don't know what you guys want them to do about that right now. Neutral hosts would be great. And in the beginning of the year, there was literally a scouting combine where teams could come in with Codcaster, where teams were hosting those games and be able to evaluate talent. At the end of the day, if the teams aren't doing their homework correctly, if they're not like doing their scouting in a particularly meaningful way and not making the right decisions, I'm not really sure what you want to ask then in that situation. It comes back to my argument in the beginning. Over time, these front offices will develop more talent that can do a better job of evaluating what's out in the field. Right now, people are taking a lot of shots in the dark because there isn't on a lot of teams some built-in COD knowledge to make those tough decisions. It will fix itself over time.
And
guys.
the thing that I want to say is, and I agree with you because I'm in this challenger scene and I see how volatile it is. I've been dealing with it for 2 years in challengers, right? But my point is to say is like, I want these franchises, and even if like let's say you get signed to a team and you're like, okay, looking for players, like just stop going with this influx of veteran talent because you're already in a bad situation. Take risk and give these players time to grow. I'm not saying they're going to come out and just be fucking the best. They're not going to be like how Draza has been playing for Thieves or Standy's been playing for them right away, but give them time to do so and like actually invest in them. Like be more than just another teammate. Right? Like, I'm not even trying to sit here and gas myself because I've said this 100 times, but how a pro should act if they're taking competitive serious in challengers is how I do it. I put everything into what I do. And not only am I a teammate, but I'm a mentor to these players. And I put everything that I can into them because I want to see them succeed so I can succeed. So teams need to do that. Franchise need to do that. And take risk, bro.
Yeah.
Because
hold on.
I want to add on to that real quick.
I want to kind of close this conversation.
That also goes back to my initial fucking Michael Jordan fucking rant a few months ago. Remember where I'm like, some of these veteran players do not know how to be a good teammate. They don't know how to mentor these kids. They don't know how to be a good teammate. If shit hits the fan, they're already blaming them. They're already talking shit and fucking behind their backs. They're already ruining the kids' confidence, bro.
It's on the coach and the management to step in. Like, bro,
but there's also 80% of the coaches in the league aren't even respected by their own teams. They don't even give a fuck.
I mean, listen, I think just like anything, there's good players, there's bad players, there's good coaches, there are not so great coaches. But I mean, like, to put it all on players, like, coaches have, I think, a way bigger role in this day and age than they would a year or 2 years ago, right? It used to be player ran.
Depends on the coach.
Now you at least have coaches. Either way, I agree that every franchise team should at least have a couple subs who are just young and up-and-coming talent.
Yeah, or even subs,
and that's
at least.
Yeah. It just finding. I would like if every franchise team like was kind of forced to have an academy team, even though I don't think that's really possible to do. Just so it's like you can at least nurture the talent and put them into like a pro system.
But I agree with you, Zim. But the flip side of that is you can have an academy team, but then who's spearheading the development of that academy team? Look, guys, they were talking in a circle. I want to make one point.
It's a good conversation.
I want to make one point, and Preston's dad is making the exact point I was literally just about to make. Guys, Call of Duty has been around for a very small window. You've got sports like baseball, soccer, for example, where they have been around for almost 100 years, and you have 100+ years of institutional knowledge of how to develop talent and players. Guys, give it time. The front offices, the coaching staffs will figure out how to build those resources to make this work. Right now, people are just trying to make it work, and they don't understand the systems and the tactics in a really holistic way. to kind of take young players and develop them. So they lean on veteran talent.
And going back to coaches, I feel like, you know, what I just said, how some teams don't respect their coaches. That could be for two different reasons. One, either the coach is shit and doesn't speak up or never says anything, and that could just be because maybe he's scared or I don't know what. There's definitely coaches in this league that do absolutely nothing. They just sit there and they have no clue how to make their team better. They have no clue how to run their team and how to talk to their players, because the way you talk to your players and the way you approach things and the way you act and whatever, it goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit goes a super long way, and I think there's a lot of coaches in the league that have no idea what they're doing, and I think that also leads to players not respecting their coaches. When a player has a coach, when there's problems going on a team and the coach is doing nothing about it, then players start fucking hating their coach. They're like, this guy doesn't do anything, this and that. You know, listen, it's so many problems. So many problems.
I think we should listen. Then I kind of want to put a stop to this conversation because we are literally going in a giant circle. I think we can talk about this more, but we all agree that at the end of the day, time's going to kind of solve all wounds here. Would like, though, to discuss this series because, as we discussed yesterday,
this series sucks. LAG is shit, bro. They are so bad. They are bad. What do you want us to say? They got 15 points in the first hard point. They got ran through in the fucking SED.
And I love the guys on LAG, but this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Period. Like, it's
I love the guys
in LAG
too. Listen, I love the guys
in
LAG.
It's a prime example of it. It's just like, let's just get fucking a whole bunch of veterans and throw them together with Reese, and Reese ended up benefiting from the situation later on in the season. But it's the same fucking scenario. Just get a whole bunch of vets and stuff like that, and it just does not fucking work.
And it goes back. It goes back to Zin's point. And Tom,
I disagree.
I'll kick to you here in a second.
Here comes Dan, aka Loony.
Listen, Tom, guys, hold on 1 second. Let's talk about mental. Look, clearly the guy is making a transition to a different game. He's being put into an extremely shit situation.
Oh, I feel bad for the guy.
The team has not been playing well. He looks like more of a preamp type sub player, so maybe would fit more as an AR. In another situation like ASIM last year, if you give someone with time, he may develop. He might still be a good piece, but I'm seeing shit people on social media and Reddit judge this guy off of two series on a bad team. I just think that is a shitty thing to do. They're trying to see what his talent is. And what I would love to see Mental get another shot, maybe with this team, with another team next year, with a better team that kind of has the foundations to win, because right now this team does not.
There's been a lot of victims of this scenario. He's not new to it, trust me.
Hold on.
I saw some absolute bullshit on social media.
I guess I'll be the only real one in here, and just I'm not trying to be a dick at all. I've been in challengers for a while. When I played against the academy team, Mental was not anything special. Like I said it before.
He started getting better later on. But Nero's,
okay, but to sit like we can't gas him like this guy was unreal in challengers.
No, I said that on my stream that he's not.
Who was sitting here gassing him that he was unreal in challengers? Like who?
No one has said that.
LAG Academy. Isn't Nero really good?
He needs another shot, but like what have you seen to be like?
Shotzi's first year in COD, he was getting his like cash ran by like pros
and this is completely irrelevant to the situation. Granted, like I do agree that there are other players that deserve to play for this team. At the same time, Mental is an unknown. Like, granted, he didn't play the best in challengers. He did have points in time when challengers, because I played him as well, where he was playing well for his team. But he's an unknown. Like, he has no experience. So, like, maybe there's just like an experiment for these guys. Let's get this guy some experience under his belt. Maybe we'll keep him next year, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, besides the situation, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're trying to say.
Well, the thing is with what you were saying, Haggy, where you want like a system to develop like amateurs, I agree with. The thing is when that main team starts getting smoke, they throw him in there like he's supposed to be some savior, and it just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
That's why
the problem with it, though.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying at the beginning of the season, invest in these players and give them time to grow.
But even in the beginning of the season, bro, you pick up a couple players. How many times have we seen amateurs at the beginning of a COD season perform nasty? You think they're gross, and as it develops, everyone starts catching up, and then they kind of fall.
The
behind.
way I've seen it, Dan, is, and this is not new, not even just this year. Like there was like a couple months of the game's lifespan where everyone was just scrimming, right? And then the pro league starts. During that time, that's when you have that time to work on. Nowadays, how you're saying it, these players are getting put in mid-season, and oftentimes they have a week, maybe less, to start working with a team. And that's what I'm saying. When I say they have no room to develop, I'm not saying it that they're not in for time, because Venom was in there for like 2 months, maybe.
a month and a half, 2 months. That's enough time. But it's more so at the beginning of the season, you have like 3 months of time where you're not even playing an actual match yet, and you're all learning. It's a fresh start. You're learning it together. You're not getting thrown into a already predetermined system. You see what I'm saying?
But let's take a step back here because
Tom.
I agree with what Parasite's saying. I agree with him. LAG had that young talent to mentor and build around. It was in Vivid Reese. They had him, and they got rid of him when the kid wanted to make a change. And
they've had Spart, Blast, and Decimate on the roster at points in the last 2 years as well.
It's just like, listen, you have the young talent, and you see the talent. We can all say that Vivid was their best player when he was on LAG. There's a reason he's on the fucking Dallas right now. He was a good player. When the kid goes back to the organization and says, look, I really want to win, and I'm trying to give it everything I got. I'm definitely playing the best on a team. Let's try and make some moves. The team feels attacked, so they put him on the bench. That's pathetic, man. That is pathetic.
Wait, didn't Silly come on here and say that he didn't
what
want
the
to
fuck
do
is that all
that?
about?
I don't think that's exactly what happened.
Vivid basically wanted to make changes, and they said no.
No.
They couldn't come to an agreement with him, so he benched himself.
Right. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Tom, is that the players didn't decide that. It's not like Silly is so.
But that's exactly my point, though. They are shitting the sheets, and Vivid is trying to help the team, and they don't want to help. So Vivid was like, all right, then fuck it. Yeah. I'd rather bench myself and go somewhere else. We're not going anywhere.
Just to put a cap on the point that I'm trying to make, like, unless you're signing like superstars and you're like a lower team that's looking for talent, then you can't really find any of these superstar benchmark players. I want to see 1, 2 veterans max that you see potential in, and then just sign 2 AMs. Like, and I'm not saying sign just
to this. I agree with your point, and Zinni can attest to this, right? On Ultra, I picked up Zinni, right? And we were building a team. Initially, we wanted Pharaoh, Desi, and I forgot our 5th. I think it was going to be like Pristini and maybe someone else, right? And once I got out of the cards...
1.2, right?
Yeah. And then I think that's when Ultra went and signed Brack, right? So it gave a bad taste in Desi's mouth, F3's mouth, everyone, right? They're like, I don't know, dude. It doesn't seem like he has control. I said the same thing you're saying. I'm like, listen, at this point, fuck it. Keep Shoxy and let's just fucking just... shot in the dark, right? When you're in the worst possible spot, or not worst, but like when you're in that
position,
deny
the guy had
it's just a shot in the dark. I'm telling you, I literally texted him and I was like, "Yo, let's fucking do this thing." And then he literally texted me like, "I'm on Envy, bro," and I was just like, "I don't think so yet." And then that's when the whole thing
this goes back to my point, Dan,
and then stuff like that. And then after that, I was just like, you know what? We got the Spaniards. Fuck it, let's play with the Spaniards. And like I said, Zinni can attest. I literally said that, but then when we did the whole 10-man thing, Nick and Zin didn't really think we can fill like the Spaniard like gap with English with both of them at the same time, and that's when we played with Adrian. But I do agree when it comes to that, when you can't make a roster that you think can completely like just compete for champions head on, take a shot in the dark.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying.
I do agree with that point.
Listen,
the 10-man roster was fucking fugazi.
It goes back to my original point, which is
I found Cammy, so I'll give them that.
Yeah, true.
A lot of this is growing pains again of teams that don't have people that have had to face that decision for 4 or 5 consistent years, right? In building teams, this is their first, second, third go around. So they need, like, a lot of orgs are going to need a lot of time to go. Guys, people aren't just going to get it 100% of the time off the bat. They need the experience to make the right decisions.
The thing has been, it's been 2 years. For some of these teams, it's been 2 years. Paris, it's been 2 years. They did the same thing, got a whole bunch of veterans. It didn't work. They think the only person they like kind of invested in was like Kismet. Like the Phantoms never played.
I didn't actually.
No. Well, yeah, Fire. Like one person.
I didn't hate the team that Paris. I think Paris is a bad example. This year.
Well, no. But I'm saying like Paris, LAG, same thing. Seattle to an extent, same thing. Like they've had their go around. Like, and I'm not even saying this to get like me signed because I'm in challengers. No, like Paris, go fucking invest in some of the Frenchies. Go invest in some of the EU players like Nasty or something.
Well, don't even get me started on that because Paris was fucking baiting with New York to get Paco. And I'm sitting here like, how the fuck, when we got Paco, I'm sitting there like, how the fuck did we get Paco? Paris should have put every dime they had to get that kid. He's literally the French phenom. It's the perfect fit.
That's the point I'm trying to make. You can't even make that excuse. Oh, it's going to take time. Bro, these teams, these lower seeded teams, these lower tier teams and franchises, no offense, have had time, and they have continued to see failure building scenarios that are very similar. Granted, yes, I know Paris invested in what, like Kismet or whatever, like on their team, and he was one of the amateurs, like
Luka.
kind of new, like Luka and stuff like that. And then what was I going to say? Who else? No, I was going to say.
But they had some potential at the beginning of the year, and then they kind of fell off, and then they changed. Yeah. I want to bring up a specific example, right? Look at how teams filled their sub lineup last year.
Oh, last year was
teams
pathetic.
picked up ARs. You want to know what happened? Oh shit! All of a sudden, we need to get an SMG player in this 5v5.
Wait, but
we don't have one on our roster.
Nothing is wrong with picking up ARs because one, and sorry to use Zin, but it panned out for Toronto. It was more so like, look at your team's composition and see what you're going to potentially need. Like one good example was the Optic team, Optic LA. They had Slasher on there. They had Dashy on there. Like they had like two Chino. No, Chino was a sub. They had Slasher.
You guys,
they
Cap
had
was
Slasher.
On that team too. They had
Slasher,
too many
Dashy,
ARs.
and Cap, and then they signed Goonjar and Sheen as subs. And I'm glad they got opportunities. What the fuck, bro? If your team falls apart, your only option are ARs. And looking at the lineup, you have Dashy and Slasher. Look at the time, right? Going in from BO4, you're not going to think those guys are going to struggle. Why the fuck are you signing assault rifle players?
Tom can attest.
The other three would struggle.
Tom and I can attest to this. We had a conversation during the offseason of Modern Warfare. We're sitting in this team speak, and Tom and I were like, bro, honestly, right now, this was like during an offseason, there are not a lot of world-class SMG players. Like, there is a shortage of SMG players. You would say, like, these are players right now that I think could win. And that's why it was so bizarre to me, like, how that offseason played out, where teams weren't trying to then, like, with the sub spot, like, pick up a SMG player that has potential on the off chance that they were good and they could slot into the lineup. Instead, they went with veteran players that had experience that were slow AR players, and then the meta didn't suit that, and they had no flexibility to make moves.
But Ben, going from CDL to CW or CWL to CDL, I will say it was a lot more difficult because the challenger scene had a lot less eyes on it, and it was less developed than it started to get in MW. So realistically, your sample sizes for investing in amateur sub players that lacked, right, was from the what's it called, the Heretics team, the Midnight team with Royalty, Zap and stuff like that. You didn't really have too many, but after the MW season,
you can't forget about COVID.
I think that's kind because at the end of the day, listen, dude. At the end of the day,
COVID, not Toby.
Oh, COVID. Sorry, I thought you said Toby, but yeah, Toby as well.
Listen, at the end of the day, nothing was stopping one of these franchises in when they got their charter and they were starting to work with the league, their branding and all that stuff, that they could have sat there and hired someone to go and scout the last couple of open events of the year to figure out who's out there in depth options. That was still a potential thing that they could have done. I disagree with the point that it's it wasn't developed.
It was a lot less.
They had the opportunity.
I have a statement and a question. So
go for it.
I don't want to go on this tangent. It's a different conversation. Yeah. I've said it many times. We need more spots. You'd see a lot more faces if we had 16 more players in the league.
I agree with you.
That goes without saying. It's a lot harder when you have a 12-team, 48-player starting league.
I actually 100% disagree with that take.
Yeah, Ben hates that take.
I always, guys,
you're gonna have to first.
I understand where you're coming with this take.
2-0 already?
But dude, I feel like I'm getting really a competition on the show, but it's all good. My thing is that at the end of the day, 16-12 doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the people making roster decisions and the captains of these teams have to do a better job of reading the market and figuring out what is the goal we're trying to reach with our team this season. Is it to win a championship? Well, are we, with the roster we picking, setting ourselves up to win a chip? And I feel like too often teams are going for comfort options with the players they choose over actually trying to achieve the goal they should be achieving. Yeah, I don't think 12 or 16 teams is going to
Let me ask my question.
Go ahead.
Because so I heard that LAG has an overall org, right? So Call of Duty, Overwatch, the way they like to run their teams is they like to give them time, right? Grow as a team, work on things, which I respect in a sense. So what do you guys think? How much time would you give teams, right? Because I do kind of respect giving teams at least a little bit of time to develop.
I think it's situational.
I thought you were talking to Ben.
Zin, I think it's the problem with that answer is there's no general answer because it's extremely situational, the talent you have on a team. Now, look, like in my eyes, if I were running an ideal org, right, I look at the academy team as not a 1-year window. I am signing players that I want to develop over multiple years.
Yeah.
And that right sides it in how I potentially rotate people in from the academy team to the pro team. For example, I learned a lesson when I was on FaZe. Tommy can attest to this. I am a big fan of how I like how Eric Anderson runs his teams because Eric is thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead on all roster moves he makes. He is thinking about what happens a year or 2 down the line. How am I developing players? How am I making them reach their potential? And what else is going on in the market? I think that you don't want to be stuck in this short-term thinking because you're never going to be able to get out of the hole.
Ben, I agree and disagree. I mean, I don't think it should be years to develop a player.
No, I think
it can't take years. We just talked about it with ASIM.
I think a fair amount of time.
ASIM came in and was doing his fucking.
Sorry, but it took ASIM like 16, 18 months to overcome his decision-making weakness.
I'm saying like they still need to be pulling their weight though. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But I'm saying there's no pressure to develop someone in 6 months. That's what it comes down to.
Oh yeah, no. But you were saying we're gonna develop these players in years to come, like 3, 4 years. Like, bro, in 3 years, if the kid's still not developed, fucking chalk him. You know what I'm saying? Get him out.
I'll give you an actual number. I think if you're developing if you're trying to like invest in players and see what's out there because you can't get yourself in an ideal situation with superstar players and you're willing to take risk, I think at least half a season, unless they are getting absolutely fried, half a season is enough to be like, okay, do we see more potential in this guy? Or are we going to cut him loose? Or are we going to rotate somebody else? I think that is a fair amount of time in COD. Half a season.
Think of building teams like you invest your portfolio, diversify. You need to be thinking short-term and long-term. And I understand when I say that I have a 2-year window, when I'm thinking about a 2-year window, I'm not saying that, I think a player needs 2 years to develop. But I do think that stability, balancing with flexibility in how you build a team, you have to balance both. And you cannot lean into one bucket too much in the other bucket. If you are too long-term, you're going to miss out on opportunities to make your team better. If you are too short-term, you're going to be going with whatever the flavor of the month is, and you're never going to be able to develop stability with your team to actually develop and get better.
I like that, Ben. Flavor of the month.
I do think you're underestimating COVID's role in all this because teams just don't have the budget. Like, at least most teams didn't have the budget to just freely release players and sign new ones, right? Like, let's use Thieves for example, right? They had Austin on the bench, right? Who I didn't think they were going to use him again. He's obviously on a big contract. Like, how do you let that guy just walk for free and go pick up a new player? Like, when you can save that guy and sell him for next year, for example, or whatever you want to do with him. Like, I just think there are very few teams who have had the capital this year to actually make changes at the fucking knock on the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's another thing though, Zin, that I was talking about. It's not so like Austin, I get it. Like he was a superstar player. He's a superstar player, right? I'm talking about like on the lower end, why sign all these veterans who are not only going to be like
I don't
might
disagree
not
with you.
work
I think
out.
some of these changes like later in the season were horrible. I don't disagree. Everybody thinks I'm hating on amateur talent.
They might
not what I'm trying to do.
They might not work out, Zin, right? But why are you going to invest all this money, because most of them are going to get paid more than the minimum because they're veterans and stuff like that, and they have like this whole like stock and persona and stuff like that in the COD scene. Why do that when you can get maybe 1 or 2 of those guys and then sign 2 amateurs, right, that you want to see and develop for 50K deals, like the minimum, and then give them half a season to develop a system with their current roster, and if you see they have potential, then you continue to play them. If you see, okay, like we gave this guy enough time and it's not working out, like clearly we can cut him loose or keep him on the bench. Like that's what I'm trying to say.
Because of champs,
I agree with you, Chris. But I'm also want to say the point that like it doesn't need to be that arbitrary. At the end of the day, all of this stuff is very situational to whatever your goals are in a given window of time. And I agree with you. I think teams need to balance development of players with putting veterans to then help aid in that development. And I feel like too often teams put all eggs into the we're 100% developing bucket. And yes, sometimes maybe you'll be in a full rebuilding phase, so you have to. But I feel like on the other side, and the LEG team is a good example, like from my personal opinion, from my POV, understanding how those players had played over the last couple of years, I probably would not have put those players together to start the season because I don't think the ceiling would have been there to achieve the goals that we wanted to have.
Yeah. Of course, it's not like a set system where I'm saying, oh yeah, 6 months.
No, you're giving an example.
I'm just giving like an example of like a decent time frame, but obviously it's going to come down to reaction. It's going to be all reactionary, what you feel at the time, what the franchise feels at the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just saying. The whole thing that I even brought this up is I don't want to see the same franchises that are stuck in these positions making the same mistakes. I get it for year one.
And they're going to.
Year
Chris.
two, it's questionable. Year two, it's questionable. But year fucking three, when will it fucking end, bro?
I think people will learn a lesson after the season.
And I'm not even saying it for my sake, being in Challengers. I'm saying it for the entire ecosystem of COD. And if you are a lower ended team and you want any chance of contending with these contenders, you need to take risks.
I think you're guessing the fuck out of it. I think you're underestimating how many teams tried new challengers this year. Afro, Paul X, Draza. There are so many amateurs.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's later. That's later in the season.
Zaptius got in kind of early. The only team that I will say made changes way too late is LAG.
Zaptius got in early, and he was on that London team, and they looked good with Zap and Paul. They looked actually competitive.
Draws has been in the fucking league.
Yeah, Draws has been in the league.
Sorry.
But hold on.
Come on, Insight, Venom.
No, Mikey's more so like actually like starting. Like, bro, in November you're already scrimming with that guy. Now, shit, in March, you're in.
You're scrimming for 3-ish months, maybe 2-ish months before the season starts. Now, what I'm saying is these players are getting put on teams mid-season, and guess how long they have?
Yeah, but the game changes. Like the beginning of the game is not the game now. It's a completely different game. If you think
but that player is going to be adapting with the system with the
exactly.
team.
He's not going to be getting put into a system.
Yeah. And then you get shit on 2 weeks, and now you're just like, wow, this guy's
exactly
like the LA Kings effect.
He's
getting with Venom.
He's getting put into a system, right? That granted, it's the way their team likes to play. That might not fit his play style. And hypothetically, this is all hypothetical. If he had been in the situation from the get-go, they might have developed a different system that might have fit his play style more and helped him thrive. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying starting the year. I'm not saying later in the year. I'm saying starting the year, invest, give it some fucking time and see how it goes. There's no allotted set of time, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, those veteran players are going to be there.
General, can we go over the Dallas match? You want to go over the fucking Dallas match?
I'm sorry. Listen, last question. So, Chris, you think...
Come on.
You think you should have veterans, like, start on the bench, for example?
No.
I'm saying 2 pros, 2 AMs already.
I'm saying, like, at least
2
pros, 2 AMs. If you're on the bottom end of teams, that isn't going to get superstars.
Fair. Listen, I don't disagree. Everybody thinks I'm disagreeing with that. I'm not against amateur talent. I'm just saying you guys are guessing a lot of these points. I mean, I think there needs to be a good mix of veteran like leadership and talent as well as like new guys, right? Like look at Hydra in New York.
That's what I'm saying. 2 and 2 is a good balance because those 2 players can work together to develop their teammates. 1 and 3 is pushing it because there isn't a lot of players like, and I'm not gonna gas myself, but like myself, like Clayster, like Crimsix, that can handle that load. It's a lot to do. Right. And granted, you have coaching staff and stuff like that, but we've already gotten into the argument with the coaches and stuff like that.
I mean, Dallas did it kind of last year.
Exactly. And granted, like, we don't know, but that is a risk, man. That is what I'm trying to tell you. They were not in an ideal scenario. So they picked up these 2 players that were unknowns. And granted, we know they were discussing another.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Okay, I hate when people try to give credit. That was all Kyler.
Okay. Well, either way, that's all it took was one person to step up and say something, right? That had some decent amount of power within the organization. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say don't sign any AMs or don't sign any veterans. Fuck these guys. Just sign all AMs. I'm saying, like, get these people in at the beginning of the season, let them develop and stuff like that, because we've already seen the potential of some of these other professional players like myself and stuff like that. And I think I have what it takes to compete, but I would much rather watch a team that is like that has potential or an unknown potential rather than like a team of all veterans that we've seen what these players can all do. Yeah. We know it's not going to work. Like, obviously we know that as players, we can see a roster and we're like, they're probably not going to play very well. Like I'm tired of seeing it. And I'm just giving people a forewarning.
We're going in circles.
That's all I've ever said.
And if you got a superstar on your team and he's fucking frying and the team's getting shit on, listen to your superstar player. if he wants to make changes. Like, you got to make the right
That
changes.
too.
You know what I'm saying?
That
Like, there's so much that goes into it. At the end of the day, 70% of these teams are completely fucking lost. They're lost. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. And I've been saying this for months, and it's honestly, like, funny to sit back and watch it unfold. Because every time, Ben, how many times is a teammate and me and you sitting teams, we're laughing, right? Dude, that teammate's going to be shit.
Like, dude, I'm like, what? Listen, this
Every year.
I'm just like, dude, I don't
year.
understand what the goal. To me, I look at life as like goal. Like, what am I trying to achieve? The goals on a given basis, and I look at some of these teams, and I'm just like, what is the goal here? What are we trying to do?
It makes no sense. Sometimes the way some of these teams build their teams, Ben, it makes no sense. We always sit here and we're like, dude, how? Like, how did they get to that conclusion? Why did they change this guy? Why did they drop this guy? It just makes no sense. Like, a lot of the moves that some of these teams make
sometimes you're gonna be boxed in, but I think we should move on, Tom.
Yeah, let's listen to this fucking Maniac's interview. Let's listen to this fucking asshole.
Comedy.
Fucking Ian Porter, aka Crimsix, had an interview. We're going to tune in, and we're going to give our initial thoughts, and then we're going to go into our predictions tomorrow and answer some questions and call it a day. We've been fucking going on for a minute now, so let's go.
Far in Stage 5. Epic win from you guys. How happy are you right now with how your team are playing?
Well, I wouldn't really say it was an epic win, but yeah, the team's playing solid. You know, we got a couple more weeks under our belt. So we're improving, we're expanding the map pool. Today, I think we played a bunch of maps that well, besides the Garrison, we didn't really want to play Garrison Hardpoint. But yeah, that's the goal right now, just to get good on as many maps as possible. But yeah, I think that was a pretty clean victory. So
It was clean. It was an epic win in my books. 3-0 smoke show. That's pretty epic to me. I tell you what, you did take FaZe though in Major 4 right to the edge, and Vivid was frying. What's the process been like to really getting him up to speed with the team and getting him to a point where you're happy as a team and you've gelled as a whole?
Well, Vivid Reese, he's been improving pretty much like exponentially. You know, haven't really worked with him much, but I think he's just seeing a lot of the plays that we're doing, and then he's like implementing them into his gameplay. I think, you know, I'm actually extremely surprised by where he's at right now, because where he seemed to be at on LAG was, you know, he was a good player, but he wasn't a great player. And right now, like, I'm seeing plays that he's making, and he's a great player right now. And I think he's not even touched like half of his potential.
That's amazing, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I hope to see that potential come to light very, very soon, especially with champs coming around the corner. Speaking of talent, though, you yourself, you know, you are absolutely frying. We've seen the best COD this season so far in Major 4 from you. What has that kind of come down to for you personally?
Here we go.
Well, honestly, just the fact that my house was built in 1928. Last year I was playing with packet loss. You know, the internet around my neighborhood's complete dog shit. Word to Bobby Poff. And yeah, my room, actually, I spent a shit ton of money getting it rewired, because the electrician said that he hasn't seen this type of electric wiring since the Korean War. And I immediately thought, like, how old is this man before me right now? Because he looks 30, you know? So a little bit weird stuff going on there. But Stage 4 was on LAN. So I don't know how I played good. You know, that doesn't really make sense.
Clown, bro.
I love you, brother.
Like an online,
so funny, man.
This
right?
guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. I love it.
He's a clown, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just blacked out. I guess. So, anyways, yeah, my internet sucks, and I can't wait for LAN again.
You and me both, Crim. I can't.
Oh shit, that was I thought that was Zinni. Fuck, that's my bad. I thought that was fucking Zinni interview, like fucking Porter. But yo, Porter's a fucking clown, dude. That guy is comedy. Listen, everybody kept telling us to watch the interview. Listen, Porter's just he's a fucking maniac, guys. It's nothing new. Bro, honestly, he says the same shit to me on FaceTime all the time. He's like, dude, my fucking house is built in 1920. I'm like, dude, then fucking move then. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, you got money.
Yeah, Crim doesn't talk like that for show. Like, I'm
no, that's how he talks.
One of those people that talks to him all the time. That's legitimately him.
No,
like,
it's actually how he talks.
The way he says things is actually comedic, bro.
I don't know. He's fucking nuts. He's nuts. But let's get into some predictions for tomorrow, Ben. I think tomorrow we got some good matches, no, Ben?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the card. Just give me a second here.
They didn't show it on the stream.
You call it the card? Yeah,
they did show on stream.
Also, Argentina scored.
Yeah.
Yeah, Di Maria scored.
And I think he just got injured.
With a little through ball. Here, you guys wanna see the goal? Let's tune into the goal. We're going live with some football.
Yeah, don't call it soccer.
Great ball!
Di Maria! Yeah, excellent ball. Good finish from Di Maria too.
What a ball! What a ball!
Not skied over the net.
What a fucking ball, bro. That was a good ball.
Oh, they did show on stream. I'm trying to find it.
Ben, you just had it up. I just saw it on the stream. You got rid of it.
Yeah, I got
right
rid
here.
of it.
Boom. Leave it right there. Here we go. We got some matches tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We got some good ones.
This is a way better day than.
And then tomorrow, guys, we will be
so.
doing a live show. We will have a live audience tomorrow, and Doug Sensor Martin will be joining me on the couch as well, alongside Ben J. Nassim, tomorrow live. So it'll be a great time. We're going to be talking about these matches right away. All right, so we got LA Thieves going up against the London Royal Ravens to kick things off. Up next, at 4:30, we got Toronto Ultra going up against the Minnesota Rocker. And for the game fuel, marquee match of the day, we got Optic Chicago going up against our very own, the New York Subliners. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a fucking day. How you doing? Let's start with the first match. I'm going to give my predictions. We got LA Thieves versus London Royal Ravens. I'm going Thieves. I'm going Thieves 3-1. I think Thieves are confident. I think they got some momentum. I think they're in a little bit of a honeymoon stage. John has been cloned. I don't think it's the same John as before. I think it's a clone. I think the government has. I'm going with Reddit on this one. I think he has been cloned, and I think John is a new person. I don't think that's actually John, but he's good. So we're gonna go with LA Thieves 3-1. But Ben, what do you think?
I actually got Thieves in a game 5. I actually think this will be sort of a banger series. Two teams trying to kind of figure things out. I think London will come and play a little better in this series, and I kind of think that Thieves will feel pretty good about finishing this week 2-0 with the tougher matches coming in, and they'll get some nice momentum, which is a good change of pace for them.
Then we got well, you guys want to give your predictions? Let's fire off these predictions, man. We'll go with you next. Parasite, go ahead.
Thieves 3-0. If you ask me about any of the teams that are at the bottom that have no point making or no chance of making champs, I'm just gonna give you the other team 3-0. Just no point. And then
Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, 3-0 as well. Thieves.
All right, fantastic. I got 3-1 Toronto Ultra. I think Toronto's gonna come out and do what they do. I just think they're a top 3 team, and I think kind of what Ben said early on in the show, their work ethic, just the way they go about themselves. I think they're a fantastic team. And I don't know if Minnesota has what it takes yet to take them down. I think Minnesota's a great roster. I think this can be a really good series. I think Minnesota can take this one, and it could go down to the wire. But I'm definitely going with a Toronto Ultra here, and I'm gonna go 3-1, possibly 3-2.
I'm saying 3-1, but I actually think this is more likely to be a 3-0. I just think Toronto's just in a class above Minnesota, who are starting to get better. But I don't want to disrespect the Toronto boys, who have been kind of smooth sailing here for now like 2 months straight. I think they're going to make quick work of this Minnesota team tomorrow.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I'd probably say like 3-0, 3-1. I mean, I think Minnesota is not a bad team, but Ultra's just been way too good.
Dan, what do you think?
I got Ultra. I think, what was it, last stage, they kind of experimented with that first game. I don't see them doing that this time. They obviously want the second seed, so I think they're going to come out and take care of business. I'll give it a 3-1, though.
Okay, cool. And then we got the last one. We got the New York Subliners going up against Optic Chicago. Listen, I'm going to say it right now. I mean, I think NY are struggling right now. They're struggling. I feel like they're making mistakes they don't usually make. It looks like they might have a little bit of a confidence issue. I feel like they're a little unconfident right now. So obviously, I've talked to Asim about these things. I'll probably talk to him before the match and let him know. But hopefully they're figuring it out, because they need to hit form. Because I also think Optic Chicago, they're going really hard. They're not streaming scrims. They've been going back to the drawing board, really focusing on their mistakes. You saw the Scump tweet not too long ago about like how hard they've actually been working. I think both these teams have been making a lot of little mistakes, and I think it's costing them. I think both these teams have what it takes to be at the top, but they need to clean it up, both of them. Obviously, I'm going to go with New York tomorrow because those are my fucking guys. I back them every day of the week. I'm biased, right? But New York needs to step it up, or Optic Chicago is going to take advantage of them and take them out. But Ben, I'm curious to see what your opinion is.
I think
Optics.
I think it's the opposite of the Minnesota Toronto series. I'm going to say Optic 3-1 just based on New York's form, but I think it could go the other way. Is New York forcing us to a Game 5? I agree. Right now, the teamwork from New York just doesn't seem to be at the level that we saw prior to the major. I think they got to figure it out. I think this Optic team is primed to sort of take that next step as a team. This would be a big momentum match for them if they can come out and beat a team that they have struggled to put away all year. I think Optic is like 1-2 against New York this year. And it's a huge also match for seeding general, especially if New York loses this and suddenly they're kind of out of that top 2 conversation. It's more about making sure they don't get the 4th spot. So I got Optic 3-1, but I really want a banger series here. I want a Game 5 round 11.
I would love that. That would fucking be dope for the IRL flank, huh? Have a good fucking banger to end it. But Chris, we'll get yours, and then Dan, and then we'll answer a question or two, and we'll call it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Optic 3-2. I like what I've seen out of Optic ever since their little run in the major, and obviously taking care of business versus, I think, would they play Paris, was it? Yeah, anyways, so just like what I've seen out of them. New York's been kind of sloppy, so I'm going to give it to Optic.
Yeah. Dan?
Yeah, I was kind of like on the Ben thing, but I'm leaning more towards New York. I think this is a must-win for them if they want a shot at that second seed. They don't want to fall too behind. And I'm looking at it too. If they lose this, they kind of give Chicago a chance to get the 4th seed as well. They can close the gap. And I thought Chicago would end the 5th seed, but with Subliners losing LA Thieves and potentially can lose this, I think it gives Chicago a chance at that 4th seed. I think it's a must-win for New York. So I'll probably take New York Game 5 though.
It's going to be a good series, I think. I hope it's a good series. I don't want it to be a blowout, like one way or the other. I mean, it would be great if New York blew them out, but for me, obviously. But I'm saying I hope we have a good series. Like, I want it to be a really good series. I hope no fugazi happens. I hope there's no fucking connection issues or anything. I want it to be a nice, clean, smooth series. Hydra's at my apartment today. He was practicing over there. I got a dual PC setup. I got to hit a fucking button to change monitors. I got to go XLR, a fucking weird-ass microphone. Paco didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was on FaceTime trying to help him out and shit. Asim had to go over to the apartment. But he got over there. He's practicing. He's good to go. He got on my setup today. And then I think tomorrow he's going to be playing again from Scraps' apartment, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Maddie even knows that, but we need Maddie tomorrow. I don't think
hopefully it doesn't now.
Because the problem is I don't have a CDL PC in my apartment, and the only way is if Paco takes his PC and brings it to my apartment, unplugs all my shit, and I kind of don't want that. So I'm like, listen, if you can somehow play somewhere else, I'm sure Maddie will let you use it instead of Maddie's a good dude.
Tank will come through.
Yeah, Tank.
I'm sure Maddie's a nice guy. Shout out Scraps.
Tank is a good guy. He's a good fucking guy. So shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Scraps. But guys, please drop a question or two in the chat. We're only gonna answer 1 or 2. The Argentina-Brazil game is on. So,
it's been really chippy. I haven't really missed anything, Tom.
Yeah, it's just the goal, right? It's 1-0.
I think it's tomorrow, too. If Thieves win and Rocker lose, that's very good for the Thieves getting that 6th seed.
That's actually a huge result for them if that happens.
I'm about to get off, boys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, Chris, thanks for coming on, man. Hey, Chris, before you go, I don't know how it's going to work tomorrow, but I was thinking, Ben, maybe we can get the TeamSpeak on a speakerphone or something tomorrow.
Yeah, no, definitely not speakerphone, but we'll figure out and see if we can do a remote.
Oh, well, what do you mean? I mean on like this, not a speakerphone, like speakers, like coming out of speakers.
I mean, the problem is we got to be able to talk to people in TeamSpeak, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. But I don't want to make any promises.
Yeah, if there's a way for me to come on the show, I'll gladly join. I got nothing to do tomorrow, so just let me know. But I'll be definitely tuning into your guys' little IRL fun stream.
Listen, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll just be laid back and chill like we always do. I got some little cousins that are gonna be in the crowd, so I might watch my language, guys. I might be watching my language tomorrow.
Wait, is Vinny going?
Vinny might go, but I got little Ava coming tomorrow. It's my little cousin, and she loves this stuff, man. But she's young, you know, so I don't want to act too crazy with her in the crowd. So we're gonna have a good time. Right. But Chris, hey, you're the fucking man, bro.
I appreciate you, man. You guys are. See you guys later.
Later, bro. Any questions in the chat?
Yeah, so I saw one. It's a couple, basically, like what should LAG do? I mean, I'll go, and then like Tom, and then you can go with Dan. Like from my POV, I think the problem for LAG, you and I were saying at the beginning of the season, it's like, all right, they got Reese Vivid, just find another player, and then when like the Thief situation kind of unfolds, like you're going to have an option to get some of those players. You're in LA, COVID's off, like you're kind of set. Now it's like they're probably going to have to kind of squad wipe and see what's out there. I still think them being though on the West Coast, and you know they have a pretty solid backing behind them. I think they'll still be in the mix in Rostermania and be able to kind of reboot. But I think with Vivid kind of off the roster now, it's sort of hard to say who should they build around because I don't really know if you can with the rest of the talent that they have.
I mean, actually, Dan, you could go next if you want. If you want anything to say.
I just think it's like you said, it's a squad wipe. Hopefully next year when we have more lands, more people would be attracted to going there. I think it was kind of interesting that they had their whole team in LA, knowing that 3/5 of the stages were going to be online.
Yeah,
that was quite interesting. But I think next year, if it goes back to LAN, I'm pretty sure both LA teams loved their time out there in LA. When obviously you're going to be traveling to LAN. So I think they'll be a good destination for a lot of top free agents, and especially if they're offering the bag, right?
Yeah.
But definitely probably a squad wipe.
I mean, for me, listen, I agree with you guys. For one, I want to say that I do feel for the LAG guys. I like all the guys over there. I see Assault,
obviously.
I see Assault tweeting how he's really sad and this and that and how he's been going through, and I feel for them. So when I say, LAG is shit and stuff like that, I'm just kind of calling it how I see it. I could be a little bit nicer with the way I go about things. But at the same time, like, sometimes I get really frustrated when there's people who are deserving of a spot or people that work really hard, like somebody like Vivid who came up, was making a name for himself, and he ends up on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that really bothers me. So, sometimes I might be a little out there in my opinions, but I just like to say it how it is. But I do feel for those guys, and I think they're all great players, and I think the team's just not working. It hasn't been working, and that's why we've just been so harsh on them, because there are things that they can do to be better. So I think kind of what Ben and Dan said, maybe we'll see a little bit of a squad wipe. Maybe you keep one and build around. I really don't know. Even the Money Chino thing, how they brought in Chino. Chino was looking like their best player, and then they sent him back down to the academy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you send back Chino when he was playing well? And if it was like a role change or something, well, then keep Chino because he was playing the best.
I agree.
It's just like little
I think
things.
that just left bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah, it left a bad taste.
Everyone wanted a change to happen, but then when it was Chino, it kind of just caught you off.
Yeah, it just catches you off guard, and it just, I don't know, man. It makes no sense, but I wish them the best of luck, and I do really like all those guys over there. It's nothing personal. When we do have opinions, it's on the game. It's on nothing. It has nothing to do with them as people or human beings, or no shots personally. We're talking strictly Call of Duty and how we feel about the team. But we'll go on to the next question. This will be the last one. Somebody said, do you think there's anything other teams can do to try to keep up with Optic's popularity? It's a great question, honestly. Listen, man, I feel like Optic is just like, they just have it. Like, they were like the first ones to do it. It started with Nate Shot and Scump and Hector over there. And I just feel like they've done a great job building a fan base over the years. Like
I have an answer, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's to think totally differently from Optic. Because this model is built around those spots, Optic is, for all intents and purposes, and FaZe the same way, international organization. They have fans all over the world. But if you are someone like the Minnesota Rocker, once COVID is not a thing, you can go and activate your local market and start to turn people that aren't currently COD watchers into hardcore Minnesota fans. That's the way, in a long-term basis, you can turn into an Optic where you have that international appeal. That is probably the best
just
way to
look
do
at
it.
their opening event. It was actually shocking. It felt like another team actually had home court advantage that wasn't Optic. When we played at Minnesota, because we played against the Rattles, like the Battle of the North. I'm like, holy shit! And then I know they did like watch parties at bars. So
their org is fantastic in terms of how they approach that. And again, when they can actually get people in rooms together to celebrate their team and their branding and activate, like, they're going to continue to create that local engagement. Right now, it's just hard. They're being home and they can't go anywhere and they can't see, dude. A lot of people. I'll give you an example, Dan. I took my cousin to the last CWL champs at
the one in
UCLA.
Yeah.
He had never been to an esport event before, and he was blown away. I took my brother to his first ever esport event, which was a Counter-Strike game at ESL 1 New York against the two best North American teams. It was Cloud9 and Liquid. And now that arena was full. And Like, it's not a small arena. There were 10,000 people there.
Yeah.
People just have never experienced esports live. They just don't understand it. Once you get them in there and they experience it, they're hooked.
Yeah, for sure. I also want to give a shout out to New York. I think our content's been very good. I think we've been.
that's all
New
it is.
York's
right?
got great content too, and they do a fantastic job, just like we're doing tomorrow. People and being able to get people in seats, celebrate your team. Dallas is doing it as well this weekend for Overwatch League. I think one of the Chinese teams is also doing it. Like, once teams can be able to engage locally, they'll start building bigger and bigger brands. COVID just kind of threw a wrench in everybody's plan.
COVID, and then two, these are new organizations. These are brand new. The Subliners is 2 years old, and not even. Where Optic's been around for years. Yeah.
Optic just ran COD for so long, like you said. Hector was just the first, obviously great visionary, and just blew it up. FaZe, obviously, with their YouTube and then getting into COD. I remember like the first FaZe team was like MW3, maybe with like Pluto and stuff like that when they first started dabbing into it. And then obviously as they grew internationally, their brand got bigger. But I think I think teams can get bigger. It's just doing like New York, right?
Yeah.
They just pump out content. And the thing I see too is when these orgs are having fun on social media, people try to like roast them for like talking shit when it doesn't work out. But it's just like, bro, that's just how it is. Like, you have to be able to talk shit. Obviously, it's not always going to go well. You're not going to go undefeated, but it still gets fans. People enjoy that. And I think brands could catch up. It's just going to take a while because at the end of the day, Optic and FaZe are FaZe.
Yeah. I mean, I see people talking about FaZe and Optic and stuff like that. Listen, FaZe is bigger than Optic outside of COD. I mean, FaZe, I think overall, I think FaZe is just like, they're
just a culture, right?
They're a culture. Like, they're in so many different things. But when it comes to strictly Call of Duty, I mean, Optic's got it in the bag. I mean, we can all agree on that. But listen, guys, we're going to end it there. All right, we've had a long, amazing show. The show took a left turn, but it took a good left turn. I thought it was a great conversation.
It was a good combo.
I think that's.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot of those with these useless matches.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like stuff like that. Like, I like that we could talk about this stuff because people want to hear us talk about it. But it ended up being a good show. But tomorrow, guys, we do have the IRL flank. We do have a live audience. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, guys. I'm really not sure. I'm hoping that it all plays out. But regardless, I want to thank the New York Subliners for making it happen and giving us the opportunity to do it. And even if things go wrong or there's problems, whatever, I don't even care. We're stepping outside our comfort zone. We're trying to do something
new. Have a good time.
And we'll try and make the best out of the situation. So I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to see a lot of you guys there. I know a lot of guys in the chat are going to be there. So we'll see you guys there. We're going to have a barbecue, man. Lots of food. There'll be a tournament going on. There'll be Aiden there, Bobby. A lot of people are going to be there, man. So we'll see you guys tomorrow if you are going. So we'll see you guys in the show. Make sure to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Close to 70,000 subscribers. So hit that subscription button. Go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. Ben's been doing a great job uploading everything to that. Make sure to go follow The Flank on Twitter, @TheFlank. Gersh is doing a great job running socials over there, so make sure to go follow that. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the energy in the chat. I'm going to continue to stream and play some games, so you're more than welcome to stay and just watch me have a good time, listen to some music, and vibe out. Do you understand? I want to thank everybody coming on, especially Loony. Thank you for coming on and ending the show with us today. It's always a pleasure. Shout out to Parasite. Shout out to Methodz. I think you guys were a little hard on Methodz today. I think he lost full. The chat was going in on him a little bit. But, guys, you got to understand, everybody's got their own opinions, and we're talking about COD, So, let's try and keep it, don't go too hard on the guy. Zin, he's always coming on this show with a lot of positive energy. So let's show some love to Zin. Show some love to Parasite and everybody else who came on. Who else came on? Zin, Parasite, Loony, anybody else?
I don't think so. Just people in the chat.
And I was gonna bring Soap in to give his opinions on the LAG series, but it took
Soap on that.
It took a huge left turn in the conversation.
So Soap, we can get Soap on in person tomorrow if we want.
Yeah, we could definitely get Soap on in person if he wants to come on. I think that'll be absolutely comedy. But listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the energy in the chat, and a huge shout out to Psych for the 15 bomb to end the show. Thank you so much for the 15 gifted. I appreciate you, Psych. I love you. Got to give you a shout out live on the flank. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Let's get a whack in the chat. And guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Peace.
Later, brother.